Welcome to Section 31, episode number 385, maybe? I'm Dan Hammond.
Ish, and I am Rogue Schindler.
It's been a while. We both have had a very busy summer, and Mondays have been difficult. So, uh, there's a note that says Hangouts on Air is going away August 1st. All right, well, I guess we'll have to figure out something else to do. Uh,
I thought
I'm
it wasn't
sure,
going away till next year.
yeah, I think that was last year. Uh, we'll figure out something by then because,
Yeah, we don't have anything to do before now and then.
yeah, exactly. So some things have happened. There was a convention I went to. It was Origins. That was a lot of fun. We've got a couple of sets out. I think at least a 1E card, a 1E set, and some stuff has been banned. We can talk about that. I'm putting together a race for the day after tomorrow. After tomorrow, we can talk about that. We've got all kinds of things. What do you want? What do you want to start with?
Well, I always like to talk about 1E.
Yeah. So, have you looked through it? What do you think?
I have. It's interesting.
What are your highlights?
You know, after Discovery, I have a newfound appreciation for Pike and that era crew, and this seems to be a lot of what it's about. I mean, it's TOS in general, but kind of focusing on that early TOS. So I like the idea of them having their own engine. They were always kind of the overpowered powerhouse to come in because you could splash them in with anything and not really have to play them anywhere specific as long as you had an AU door. So really, sometimes people dedicate, going to the Tribbles place, K7. Um, but it was always like mixed in with something as another engine. So it's nice to see a way, like a dedicated way to try to encourage people to play just TOS. I mean, I feel like they'll be pretty strong anyway. They have all those really cool special downloads to help you kind of shenanigan past dilemmas. So I think that's interesting. I like that they made a story out of the demon hunters, monster hunters,
Monster Hunters, yeah.
space monsters. So that was cool. Um, yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff in this set.
I dig the new number one. I think it's a great card.
Oh yeah,
Uh, it's missing out on that for a while, so that's great. Uh, I like you said, I like that their own engine, and it's it's something that TUI does. In TUI they'll look at they'll have like the first season version of TNG and mid season and the late season. I do like that they're all the like first season collared uniforms, and it's all the old stuff. That's pretty cool.
yeah, and a lot of missions.
A lot of missions. Yeah.
It's a lot, crazy amount of missions, but interesting.
Uh, I'm looking for something. Memory Alpha, Babel, got a region, Talos 4.
Man, I love that image on Examine Quasar. It's, you know, that's begging for a foil.
Yeah. Didn't see what I was looking for, but that's fine. That will come out in the next set that I've been helping out on. I'm looking forward to that. There is no more to say about that because it's a long ways off.
All right.
This is going to be a fun set to play with. I'm looking forward to putting something together. You're probably not going to have any time at all to play at Gen Con, I'm guessing.
No, I'm barely going to have time to eat and sleep at Gen Con. And what time I have will probably be spent playing ACG. So, I, as much as I enjoy playing 1E, I also really enjoy the deck building process rather than having to just pick up a deck and play it. So that requires a great deal more effort than I think I will be able to lend going into Gen Con uh, because I'm going to be being a GM.
I'm looking forward to hearing what your experience was that. So, are you going to get to play a character GM, or or are you
Yeah.
running a room? What's the deal?
So there were a couple of different things that you could sign up for, preference wise. And the two that I most wanted was to be an NPC that would get to interact with characters, or like a puzzle room GM, where you get to kind of do the thing that the guy that we hated did so badly, which is kind of give people information and guide them through solving puzzle rooms. And occasionally they have a character that is both. And so you actually, the character that gives you the puzzle as you come in is an NPC that you interact with, and they occasionally go along with you. So apparently, I'm going to be a character that goes along with you for several rooms and kind of as a guide. The generic title I've been given is Sage. Uh, so it's cool. That's like exactly what I wanted to do. So once we finally got the confusion of whether or not I was willing to volunteer out of the way, I was super excited.
That's awesome. So uh, we did a true dungeon at Origins. There were we filled up 9 spots, I think. We had
Oh
two
wow!
people missing, so there were only really 7 of us. But that's still probably the biggest organized group I think I've ever done.
Totally.
Um, and we were playing on I think normal difficulty, so nothing too crazy. And it was uh, swamp, abyssal swamp or something like that, nasty swampness or something like that. Uh, just got a card right here. Uh, abyssal, so something, S. I got my True Dungeon XP. I gotta log into one of those. So we had myself and one person who had done it twice, and 2 people who had done it once, and our new friend Kat, who had done it a few times, and her friend name I cannot remember, but who liked Harry Potter. He had, it was also not, had done it a few times, and then we also had several people who were doing it for the first time. So it was a very mixed group. Um, we had spent a lot of time, the kind of panic. Here's Dan's big bag of tokens. Let's see what we can actually get, pass out. I did find one of my tokens is purple, and it's like this bracers of roguey happy, ranged attack, awesome, and it was like $100. So that's cool. I got a
Nice.
nice token. I don't know where that came from, but one of the runs we've done in the last couple of years. So one of the
Yeah.
random pulls. Uh, we managed to solve all the puzzles with we had a rogue who uh, did all the little roguey things, and there was one puzzle that we thought we had solved, and so we said, "No, go ahead, get the treasure." and as soon as he said, "I'm taking the treasure," we realized that we were doing it wrong and all taking damage.
Oh.
uh, but we managed to solve that like the last minute. Uh, of just panicked. Okay, here's the last thing that we figured out, and then it was like, okay, let's get through the manual labor part of everyone passing the thing through the big box and getting things in the right order, and that was a lot of fun. Um, and maybe it was the size of the group, but we got to the last combat, and this is the first time we actually defeated the monster at the end. I know it was.
That is
We managed to. Well, only 2 people died, which I thought was hilarious. I think our cleric and our
wow.
rogue were breathed on by the dragon too many times. But between the barbarian, the paladin, the rogue, myself, and uh, dwarf fighter or whatever, we had we didn't have a bard. We had something else. Oh, a
Monk,
two-handed guy.
ranger.
Yeah, Ranger. Yeah, we did enough damage to actually beat the last boss. That's the first time. I mean, I don't know how many times we've done true dungeon runs. It's always that last room is like, well, we don't have the buffed up stuff. We don't have enough people. Never
Yeah.
do enough damage to actually beat it. Now, it could be that the guy was, fudging things for us, but I'm going to take it at full face value. We defeated the last boss, made it all the way through, solved the puzzles, and we had a great time. I think there were no there were no dumb puzzles. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
there was there was one where they had it's like the second or third time I've seen we've got all these things and a description, and you need to use magnets and weights and feel around for the bag and figure out what's what, and then solve it. That worked out pretty well. I want to say that I was working on a different part of the puzzle, and the rest of the group were just like, boom, 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 boom. This one's magnetic. This one's a little really light. This one feels like sand. Here, 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 here. And I turned around after assembling the pot contraption thing, where we were making the cauldron, and I was like, "Yep, we're done." I'm like, "Okay, fantastic." uh, there was there was a color puzzle, and I must have blocked it from my memory. I don't remember what it was.
Well, that's what you
Oh,
get with color puzzles.
there was a great one with magic wands where there were circles and ovals, and they responded to movement. So we had all these wands, and when you moved them, the end lit up. So that was pretty cool.
Ooh.
Uh, yeah, it was great. We were never really. We had a couple of combats that were fun. The last one was somehow victorious. We solved the puzzles in a reasonable amount of time. I think it was only one that we were like really up against the clock, and we managed to get through. It was great. We had a good time.
Nice.
And yeah, we've already made plans to do it again next year at Origins. And this time, instead of just saying let's meet at 3:30, we're going to move it up a little bit, and we're all going to have lunch together to make sure everyone gets there on time. We're going to spend some time divvying up tokens, around the lunch table. We're
Yeah.
all going to head in together so that the herd of cats all makes it at the same time, and we're not yeah,
Yeah.
we're not texting people at the last second. We'll see, where are you? So definitely on the books for next year. We'll do it
Yeah.
again.
If you've never done it before, True Dungeon is definitely you got to be on time.
It's not something you want to be late for,
You show up early
and
or even
because
30 minutes late.
there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we ran into Florida Rykar.
Oh, nice. Eric,
Yeah,
Robinette.
yeah. Eric was there, and he said, "Man, you should have told me. I would have given you all those cool buttons, cool treasure things again." So we will definitely tell him next time so
Oh,
that we can
absolutely.
borrow his treasure things. That's probably the extra treasure bolts is probably where that those really nice gloves came from.
Yeah, he was just like, whatever. he's got, he's got this giant
Yeah,
binder of loot.
yeah.
Well,
So
cool.
that was fun.
That
Had a
worked out
great
well.
time. Uh,
And do you feel like you benefited from having a known party, like with the interaction and the solving and everything, not having to fight another group that you weren't familiar with?
there was I mean Cat and Dude were a little bit unfamiliar. It's funny because we all were sitting down doing the tokens, and they came in and started doing tokens, and like 5 minutes before we started, I stood up and like, okay, so at Gen Con last year there was this really late night event and I didn't play, and she took my spot. And I was like, oh, very nice to meet you. And to which PG says, why weren't you playing? I said it was late and I had to run tribbles or something.
Yeah.
But that was fun. No, it was a good time.
It all worked
Yes,
out, as it.
but in general, since we kind of knew everyone, and I guess you kind of knew whose personalities would be good to. Okay, start on this. You just concentrate on combat. We were trying to figure out, what Sean would play, and was like, well, are you good at the game Operation? He said, yeah, sure. All right, steady hands. He was like, yeah, paint figurines and models and things, so super steady hands. I'm like, this is
Perfect.
your job. You're going to be the thief. It's like, so he's a noble thief, right? He did well with that. Kelly did great memorizing the beads again.
Nice.
That was the other thing. I was like, all right, I'm going to introduce this person whose name is Cat. That's just a little weird. Here's my friend PG, and here's Yap. So never mind. Weird names are part of the game.
Yeah.
Uh,
And you didn't
anyway,
have a bard.
we did not have a bard. Yeah,
So I can be the number 10.
exactly. That's right. If ever, yeah. Again, we missed out Lucy and Elizabeth and Rogue the Bard. Yeah, got some fancy instruments too that I picked up. So we'll have to look at that next time.
Awesome.
Oh,
Well, I'm
I
glad
think
that you had it. Yeah, I just think like even if you butt heads, like if you're there with people like I mean who to not bother with, who to how to negotiate with people or talk to them. And there's like with people you don't know, there seems to be this propensity to like either relent because you don't know the person, or hey, I don't know this people, I'm never going to see them again, I'm going to be super belligerent because I'm right.
Yeah, we didn't have to worry about that. That
Yeah,
was nice.
that's really great.
Yeah, but I think we can certainly fill up a full table next year. So that's going to be entertaining. Um, I got to do this is probably one of the most gaming origins I've done when I haven't had you there plotting all the RPGs, right? Because I
I
had
loved.
several ACGs tables that I went to. I got to demo. I wandered around and actually demoed a bunch of games on the floor that uh, I wanted. It was things I was looking for and things someone pointed out a couple all along the way. I did. I demoed the game called Roots that we tried to get a slot for at Gen
Oh
Con
yeah.
and didn't. That is a interesting game that I think a lot of people will like, and it's getting a lot of high marks. And I don't like it at all. So I don't know. Have you heard anything about it? Have I complained about it already?
I think you just said that it was really, really complicated and there were way too many things going on at once.
So the idea is it's an asymmetric game, which means I've got you divvy out affiliations at the beginning, and I think the original game comes with four. There was an expansion with two more, so we had two originals and two expansion kind of affiliations. I was playing birds. There was a raccoon. There were cats taking over the forest, and I think there were some moles or something like that. Um, and each affiliation, so put it in Star Trek terms, has its own goal that they're trying to do, like get to 100 points, or solve 5 planet missions, or get through 50 dilemmas, or something like that. They're all different, and they don't necessarily, preclude the opponent from getting to their goal. But sometimes around the edges, you might have a little bit of dispute over I wanted to be in this spot and you wanted to be in that spot for two different reasons. Uh, and the order is different for everybody. So it's in general, you get your stuff, you place your stuff, and you do your things, but all of those are done differently for every affiliation. So you can imagine sitting down for a demo for a game you've never seen before, and the person doing the instruction says, "Okay, here's how you play over here," and then you take a turn. All right, now forget all of that, and now player number two is going to do all of these things, and this is your goals. And now and it was probably just the very beginning was the worst. I think we played maybe 2 or 3 turns at most. And by the time we got to the third turn, I'm like, I kind of figure out what I'm doing. I still have no idea what two of the three people are doing. But I can understand how, it's not directly adversarial, so that's kind of interesting. Everyone's doing something different, and it's usually secret, because I'm drawing from a deck of cards that are my objectives, or you've got all these things that you have to do in whatever order you think are the fastest. And it it was probably not the best game to demo on the last day of a long convention, because
Oh,
but I don't know if doing it at the beginning would have been any better because it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. The cards look great. The components are fantastic. Everything is put together very nicely. It's a beautiful game. It was just super complicated, and I would imagine. I'm going to talk about Gloomhaven later, so I can't really say anything about complicated games. But if you played enough, and everyone, hops around and plays the different affiliations, I think by the third or fourth game, you've got a feel for everything and you kind of know what's going on. But I,
right.
I never really felt comfortable on my turn or anyone else's because I just didn't know what was going on.
So basically, everybody's playing Borg, and you're not,
There's a lot of that. Yep.
except you're all playing a different kind of Borg.
Yep. In fact, I
So you
think that went
have
through
no
my
idea
mind
what
at
you're
some point.
doing.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know what you're doing. I don't know if you're cheating. I'm just assuming you know what you're doing and you're following the rules because you're getting points your own way and I'm getting points the way I expect to get points. So whatever.
yeah. I
Yep. That's
actually,
it.
yeah, I played a new game, this last week on vacation that was not quite that extreme, but it was everybody had a different end goal. We all had the same mechanics, but everybody was trying to do something different. And unless you knew what they were doing and how they had to do it, it was really hard to try and disrupt them. I don't
That
think,
reminds me of the old like Castle Risk where you've got a battle goal along the way
yeah,
where halfway through the game, you kind of can figure out what people are trying to do.
Yeah,
But if you're a novice or it's early on, who knows?
yeah. Well, but this one was like you knew it, like everybody's goals were public, but you had no idea how they worked because they're all like play the cards in your specific. All the decks were different.
Ah,
You had to play the cards in your deck in a certain specific order and hope they come out. And I had like the one that was really like draw 20 cards. It was like the simplest of all of them, and uh, and I'm like, all right, well that's easy, but like I don't know what I know what you're doing, but I don't know how close you are because I don't know any of the cards in your deck. So yeah, I mean it was still fun. It was the Disney Villains game,
yeah, okay.
which is a lot like the thematically a lot like the legendary villains in that you're all trying to accomplish your own goal, but you want to accomplish your goal first. So, like screw you and screw you and screw you.
So yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm the best villain. But yeah, I definitely could see how that would be frustrating to not know what anybody else is doing and thus not really, you're all keeping score a different way. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know, is Q points good? I don't know.
yeah.
Like, how close is that? Are you going to P or are you going to Z?
I think if you know, with more time and maybe a copy of the rules that I can read through, it wasn't too terribly complicated on its own if we were all playing the same. But multiplied by 4 or 6,
Sure,
that's that.
it's basically 6 different games, and you have to
Yeah,
know how to play them all to
I
follow
mean
the.
it's a tribute to the designer to keep them balanced because if any of them could win, that's tough to do.
Yeah, I think Brian was saying that's like his thing.
Yeah, yeah. Asymmetric games is that
Yeah,
designer's thing. So that was interesting. I'm glad I got to demo it, and I don't think I need to play it again unless everyone else is in, and then I'll probably reluctantly join. Along those lines, there was another game that I think I would probably play again if everyone was in, but I wouldn't push it on anyone. It was a game called On Tour. Uh, I demoed it because someone saw it and thought this would make a really good Star Wars version of the game because it would be easy to do. So we got a
that,
lot of that.
that's a good reason
Uh,
to play.
yeah. So the idea is you're a band and you're on tour. You've got a map of the United States in front of you. It's not like a whiteboard kind of thing, so you can write on it. Every state, most states have a circle in it. I think the Northeast is just NE and has a circle up there, but there's Maine, you see, it has a spot. And the dealer has a deck of cards, and they're going to flip over 3 of them, and each of these cards has a portion of the United States. So the Western United States, the Central, and the East, or the North or the South. So one of those 5. And they'll flip over 3, and at the same time, whoever's turn it is rolls 2d10, and those 2 digits make up 2 numbers. So if you roll 2 and a 3, you've got to place a 23 and a 32 on your map somewhere, one each in one of the locations that were flipped over. So if the dealer flips over North America and South America, no, not North America, Northern United States and Southern United States,
Okay.
and then say Western United States, you just have to pick, okay, the 23 goes on that card somewhere in the West, and the 32 goes in the North somewhere, with the intent that at the end of the game, you're going to make a path from the highest number to the lowest number and hit as many numbers as you can along the way, different states. So you're making the longest tour possible based on randomized numbers that have to go into a portion of the United States that is revealed randomly. Right?
Okay.
So it takes some planning. Maybe you put all the high numbers on the left and the low numbers on the right, so you're starting over there and you're working your way across. Not every state is connected exactly, to every adjacent state, but most of them are pretty close. If in addition to the north United States and South United States and West, East, and Central, on each card is a portion of that is highlighted. So if you flip over the West, it may be like California has a circle around it. If you put your number in that particular state, you also draw a circle around your number, and you get an extra point for going through that one. So there's some incentive to not go exactly according to plan and go a little bit off to try to get extra points. I think in our game, I think the high score was like 20 or something, which is there's one additional two additional rules. One, if you roll doubles, like if both d10s come up a 3, you get
Yeah.
a wild card. You can put it one number anywhere you want, which is
Uh,
great. It'll put a star somewhere. The other thing is if you roll a number toward the end of the game and like my entire northern United States is full and that's the only place I can put something, you have to put an X somewhere, and that's something place you can't go through at all. So
scratch.
yeah, so you can plan as best as you can and hope the numbers kind of fill in naturally with that usually doesn't happen. You can hope for some wild cards, and you can. It was an interesting game. Like I said, it would be very easy to turn into a map of the galaxy and just from one end to the other.
Oh
Try
yeah.
to try to plan your galactic tour or your using Vong invasion. Uh, that's funny. I like that.
Uh,
But if you don't like games with lots of rolling dice, and if you're not too keen on planning, this game is definitely not for you.
man, that's two very opposite things because you're like planning plus complete randomness.
Right?
Like, how can you plan for that?
Yeah.
I get it, but that's yeah. I can see how that would drive people who like one or the other a little batty.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly would play again, like I said, if everyone else wanted to play. But
I would definitely be interested in trying it. That sounds
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, but it was that was a little tough. What else did I do? I played a lot of Pathfinder. There was an open scheduled, and the materials didn't show up, so they said, "All right, instead of preliminary, semifinals, and finals, we're just going to have when the stuff shows up. If we're just going to keep a tally of how many times you play and survive, or whatever." And I said, "Really? Isn't that just giving awards to people who just sacrifice their entire weekend to play?" You're like,
Uh,
"Well, yeah, but if you want to play, if you want to win, there you go." So I said,
wow, that
"All
is
right."
terrible attitude.
It wasn't really presented like that, but that was kind of the gist. So I said, "All right, well, you know what? It's a high stakes, super complex scenario. So let's give it a shot and see how it goes." So I ended up playing with a guy that volunteered for Cephalofair. He was pretty cool. And Chris Hines. You remember Chris Hines?
Oh wow,
Yeah, he was at my table. Um, and I think Kat joined us for one of the games. And it turns out that it was the open from last year at Gen Con. So on top of that, it wasn't something new, but so we played, got through. It's like these are really hard scenarios, so it was pretty tough. Made it through. That was fun. And I played a character that I hadn't played before, so that was interesting. And I have no recollection of what that was. I think it was playing Kyra, and so that was interesting. Unfortunately, they didn't have all the decks. You're supposed to have Kyra and the ultimate, magic, and Valros and ultimate combat. Well, they didn't have any ultimates. I think they might have one. Yeah.
wow.
So I had happened to bring ultimate combat, so I took mine out and set it next to Valros, and the guy who played Valros got to use that. The guy from Cephalofair might have been other Chris. I think it was Chris, the second Chris, because there's plenty of those. I think he brought his own Leany.
Yeah.
Leany deck with the other deck put together already. So I was like, I'm just gonna play this. So that was perfect. So he was ready to go. And then I had already signed up for a couple of sessions because I was planning on playing preliminary and semifinals. So I showed up for the semifinals, and it was a different group. So I played again, And was at that point was like, all right, well, I might as well play the final because sure, why not? And it was fun. You know, you had to get the crystals and do all the other stuff, and it was interesting to go back and we did a pretty good job of maximizing when we played because you know we we
That's what
did.
we do.
Um, we we I don't know if we did the same or better. We managed to not only get everything, we closed every last site and did every you know it was every. Remember that time when we closed everything, we got all the components, and we maximized the number of time left, and the guy was like keeping score and was like, I don't think you could. I think you guys got the high score because we may have gotten pretty close to that because it was pretty good.
Yeah,
We had yeah
perfect final score. Yeah,
things were just falling in, and you know the decks were shuffled just the right way. So you know we hit the villain over here and then we moved him over there. And we got a henchman over. It went pretty well. And myself, Chris, and other Chris were the only three who played more than once. So they said, "Hey, you guys are the winning team. Here's your prize." So I got a $50 Paizo coupon, except it's a coupon that says when you order, it's $50 off your order. So it's not in my account. I have to order $50 of something, and then I can apply it to my order.
that's probably better if they've already given it to you.
Yes,
Last time we had to sit around waiting for it.
it expires at the end of the year. So I'm hoping something interesting comes out. I don't think I want to buy the core set because we've got a lot of copies of it already. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I still have to buy at least one of the Goblin decks and a couple of the ultimates. I think I could probably fill out $50.
Ultimates are definitely the way to go if you don't.
And they're marked down too. Or at least some of the decks I saw were marked down, so that was good.
Fantastic.
I had fun. Had a great time. I also got to play a few of the OP scenarios.
Forest.
Yeah.
Thingwood Forest.
So that was interesting. The OP was set up so you can play a character from the box, or you can play any OP deck you want. Right. So again, with the poor planning, you know, at Origins in the Franklin area, they've got the little foyer out in front where all the tables are, and then they've got the rooms next to it.
Yeah.
All the tickets said go to the foyer. So myself and two other guys waited there and waited there and waited there. Finally, we're like, man, it's been like 5 minutes past the thing. I know they don't get a lot of Pathfinder here, but surely they've got to be somewhere. I'm going to go inside and check. And he said, yeah, they're over there in the corner. They were inside the room, and no one bothered to come out and look at where the actual ticket said.
That's annoying.
It's all right. They hadn't started yet because why would they be on time? So they had us join the table of 6 players already. So they made everyone had decks.
Oversold it.
I don't know how they oversold it. I mean, there were 16 people at 2 tables, and we had real tickets. So it's like, what? Okay, that's fine.
So that's like they were supposed to have more tables and they didn't have supplies or something.
Yeah, they never ran more than 2 tables the whole time. They didn't have enough boxes, but we taught people how to play. So mostly people who had never played before, including, I must say, a group of older gentlemen, maybe early 70s, late 60s or so, who I really want to be when I grow up because they were all sitting around having a grand old time, you know, reading the cards and just play. This is because they had played through most of the boxes, the old boxes. They were learning how to play core. It's like, this is exactly how your other guy plays, except you got to use this. Oh, okay. Anybody have a blessing? Oh, we can only play one. It was great. It was awesome. They were fantastic.
That's great.
Yeah, we played a scenario. We played the first scenario from the OP, and I went first because I clearly knew what I was doing, apparently. And then we went around the table. And the guy to the right of me never got to play because the scenario was over in 7 turns.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I think he might have played a blessing or something on somebody else. So he got to at least read his cards and do something. But yeah, we cornered the villain, and there were 8 of us for 6 locations. So, we found the villain and cornered him, and it was done.
There's a really good reason not to do that, I guess.
Yeah. But, that's fine. I got my sign off on that. We played it a little bit. I think we ended up playing through 4 of the 5 scenario, 3 of the 4 scenarios. I played with Celeste,
Oh yeah,
the uh,
the Naga.
the Naga. That was fun. She's pretty cool. I think it was a while back you had mentioned that would be a good one to play because I was saying I only want blessings and allies and spells, and that's it. And that's pretty much all she has.
Yep,
Uh,
and no arms
and no arms, yes. Which, you
or
know,
armor.
yeah, or armor. I was trying to find a figurine for her because there's not one, and there were like no Nagas anywhere.
Really?
Yeah, I mean there were some snake people, but they all had arms, and there were no traditional Pathfinder Naga anywhere. So yeah, I'll have to look around online. I went to all like the little. It was like maybe Saturday. I was wandering around. Hey, we got a Naga? Yeah, I think we got a Naga around here. What's a Naga look like? And people who knew their stuff were like looking through drawers for me, and I would have
Sure.
paid a couple of bucks for a mini, but couldn't find one. So that was disappointing. But she was fun to play. Got through a couple of adventures. Played with
Oh, wait, hang on, hang on.
yeah.
You, of all people, went looking for a mini, found a snake with arms, and didn't just buy it and hack them off. You're like the king of like weird mini hacks.
Yes, but I couldn't find one that wasn't some forearm dude. I, I didn't find a appropriately scaled Naga lady. How's that?
All right, fair enough.
All right. I will bring my scalpel and a pair of scissors to Gen Con and see what I can find because I need something. But I played with her for a few adventures, so she's really fresh. We can use if we're starting from scratch on any of the adventures at Gen Con, or you want to play through that one again. I'd be happy to. That was fun.
I would love to play the new scenario.
Good scenarios, tough. There was like a siege deck for one, and I had somebody who was playing with who kept exploring the location deck because he wanted more hit points. Like if we just finish the siege deck, you don't have to worry. Whatever. We passed it narrowly, so I'm not going to complain too much. But not logical.
Wow.
I miss our play group a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god, I had the same thought today. Because sorry, random aside.
Yeah.
I'm running a box. There's currently an online Pathfinder convention called Cards Against Humanity, second annual, uh, and uh, they were looking for they're really heavily recruiting people to run core boxes. I was like, all right, cool, I can run a box, and I don't have time to play as well, but uh, the reward we just finished the first scenario, and the reward was everybody gets to pick one card, a level 1 card type of their choice, and then add that to the loot, and then everybody gets a bonus deck upgrade. So I'm like, all right, well, everybody pick the thing you want. I'm assuming that's going to be your first choice because that's what we would do, right? You just pick
Yeah.
what you want and you keep it, and then we'll negotiate for the second choice out of the acquired cards. No, they were like, okay, I'm going to add a spell, and then I'm going to roll off for your weapon.
What?
I was like, dude, cutthroat.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, no, I want both allies. I'm a druid and I need all the allies, so I want both the allies once. I want my ally and I want your ally. Roll me.
Dang, dude.
I was like, dude, all right, you guys are hardcore, and they were all totally good, like fine with it. That but I was like, damn, I do like that our group is is, you know, because I could see. I guess if you don't play with the same group and you don't know that you're going to see them again, you're going to take your deck. You want your deck to be as good as possible, but man,
Yeah. I mean, it's a cooperative game, right?
yeah, I mean, like you need your other teammates to have good decks too, so that you can all get through it together.
Yeah. That's yeah. In fact, I want you to have a better deck so that I have to play less resources on you,
Yeah.
right? Let's say those resources for me.
So yeah, I mean, I was like, every group has their own dynamic, I guess.
One of the last games I demoed, it must have been Saturday morning because my friend PG bought it immediately. Uh, it was it was called Conflicting Legends, and actually I grabbed a coaster because they were giving out coasters for it. So see the art style here. We've got a Einstein right with throwing the peace sign, except that's not the peace sign. Um,
Victory sign.
nope. You get one more guess.
Um, easy. Oh, guys, scissors.
Yes. So this game is played. There are three different personnel types in the game. There's like thinkers, there's leaders, and there's military, and they're locations that you try to take over. You have to build out your deck of locations to get points, and you like North America, South America, Europe, etc. And in order to fight your opponent and conquer their territories, you play rock paper scissors. You just okay. I'm going to play Genghis Khan. All right, I'm going to take over
Oh
your
man.
Australia. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, and but if it were that simple, that would be too simple, right?
Right.
Each of the warriors have game text on them that change the rules of rock paper scissors. So you may win ties, which gives you a pretty good odds of winning, right?
Oh yeah.
Or you may lose ties, but you get to throw two hands and choose which hand to use, which is all number one, an awesome rule, and number two, the most hilarious thing to watch anybody try for the first time. Because
I was just thinking that.
when we demoed, I think I did 1, 2, and then this hand was supposed to be paper, but it turned into this, and this hand was supposed to be scissors, and I got the scissors right, but it was like this. I think I threw one finger. we had one person go 1, 2, 3, and then he looked down and both hands were paper, and he was like, "What did I do?" It was awesome.
Oh, that's like you're like, oh, what am I? You're like 1, 2, 3.
I
And you
literally had to say, "Okay, hold on a
mentally
second.
prepare.
I need to
Yeah.
think about this." There's one where you and your opponent throw two hands, and then you choose if you're fighting my left hand versus your right, or my right versus your left. It was a lot of fun. There's at least one or two that say if your opponent throws rock, you get something. So or they get something. So you're incentivized to either lose because you want this resource, or I know that you're going to play that and try to lose to get the resource. So I'm also going to play something else so I win, except that you know
Oh my
that.
god.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And, great when
Because
drinks are being served.
we we need another way to make rock paper scissors be more second guessy.
Yes, exactly. It was a lot of fun. They also had a game that was related called Finger Guns at Noon or something like that, but it was way too complicated because it had this like cheat sheet of different moves that you can do. I was like, okay,
Jeez.
that's too much. I can do rock paper scissors, but we'll do that another time. That was fun. We'll definitely play some more of that. Maybe this week. We'll see. I've got. I found a company that makes playing cards, like really nice playing cards, that just print on demand. They had a little pack of like little demo, just different kind of paper types and things. One of them is like playing card plastic with little stuff on it. But one of the
Nice.
things they had was you remember like Gloom, the game Gloom,
Oh yeah, with the
it's printed on
overlays.
transparencies.
Yeah.
They could print those, and they could print white first and then the transparency.
Ooh.
Right? I know at least one person who will be very interested to hear that and see what they can do with it and what the cost would be. It was not very expensive,
Interesting.
if I remember correctly. So that was cool. Man, had a great time. It was a great show. We were far away, not as far away as we could be. We were blocks away, maybe a good 20-minute walk from the convention this year.
Oh man.
But there was a free bus that went up and down the street all day long.
Oh
So,
nice.
and it was, it ran probably every 15 minutes or so. So I don't think,
That's not bad.
maybe 25 minutes, whatever it was just at the distance where if I was power walking, really moving, I could get there before the bus came if I walked out of the hotel at the wrong time.
Right.
But I was never late for any of my events. I managed to just hop on a bus and ride it down. It rained pretty bad the first day, but the weather was beautiful the next couple of days. And North Market was fantastic. What else?
Always.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. So there were more topics we were going to cover. That was pretty much all of Origins. I don't think I forgot anything.
It's been almost an hour, so I don't know if we need to. We covered Star Trek, and we covered Origins. Those are big ones.
There was an event going on last week on the Starfleet, whatever. What game is this?
Fleet Command.
Yeah, Starfleet Command. That was amazing. Uh, I got a lot of resources for that. That was
Was that
fantastic.
the mining event? That was the most recent thing that was happening. I hate mining events because I don't have a North Star. That's the short version. Is if you don't have a North Star, like a powered up North Star, like there's no reason to leave your base during a mining event because you won't hold anything for more than 10 minutes.
It was the Klingon. No,
The
it was the Klingon
war,
separatist. That one.
yeah.
Yeah. All the rewards you get the little Klingon symbol badgy things that you can go shop
Oh
with,
yeah, that's right.
and I bought myself a lot of the little tokens that represent a million, so they can't be stolen.
Yeah, I really wanted that, and I was not in a position to earn enough with my limited accessibility. Um, I took the free tokens they gave us and bought 90,000 3 days.
Yeah. The other one that's going on, the one that's going on right now, is against a faction. So go beat up the Federations, go beat up the Klingons, go beat up the Romulans.
That I can do, and I'm doing it.
Yeah, and that has the benefit of if you, what I'm doing is I just relocated my base into enemy territory. You know, because then you can send out a miner, right, and then everything concentrates on that, and then you send out your fighter guy, and then you don't have to worry about leaving him there and getting him blowed up. You just bring
Yeah,
your miner back in.
that's true.
Yeah, and if there happens to be any open resources, you can harvest. While you're in system. But
Yeah,
the rewards for that are pretty good. I'm enjoying that right now.
I,
Uh,
ha- I am lucky enough to be on the cusp of where the ships that I am going after are in a system where uh, the hunters that come after me are blow upable for the other big ships in my system. So at least half the time, I have found that somebody comes along and blows up the ship that's hunting me because they don't know it's hunting me.
that's dangerous, man, because it may look like a certain level ship, but it's a lot bigger.
Oh no, I'm
Yeah,
quite tap happy to make sure that those are not.
yeah,
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 I've done that. I've learned that the hard way.
yeah. But still enjoying it. Still having a good time with this. Still playing it too much. Uh, yeah, and I'm having the boy still kill bad guys for me, so that's fantastic.
Yay, farmers.
Yeah,
Well, speaking of phone games, since it just came out, I'll just give it a little plug, and we'll see how long it lasts. But a long time coming, advertised has been. It's called Harry Potter Wizards Unite.
I've I've heard and I've seen people playing it. In fact, when I was walking around scouting for the race we're doing day after tomorrow, someone that James used to play Pokemon with was playing the new Harry Potter game, and I think he was a little sad.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, it's very similar. It's the same company, and they're obviously going to graft onto some of the same mechanics in a lot of the same geographical locations. So it's actually nice if you play Pokemon because you know where a lot of things are going to be. You may not know what they're going to be, but there's something there. But it's fun. You cast spells, and you know you uh, the basic premise is that like it's kind of like timelines in that some catastrophic, they call it the calamity, some great catastrophic thing has stolen things from where they're supposed to be and jumbled them all up and put them in other places. And they're magical things, so they're at risk of breaking the SOS, the statute of secrecy that
Right.
keeps the wizarding world secret. And so everybody's binding together to go and find all these things and put them back where they are before someone gives up the ghost. And different things require different spells, and instead of throwing balls, you're casting spells to get rid of the things that are guarding them. And it's pretty cute. I like that you have to have. There's a lot of things improvements they made on here on Pokemon. It's a lot let Pokemon was very much a lot of tap happy. You just sit there and tap when you're battling or something. These you actually have to. There is a they show you a line to trace to cast your spell, which is very much like using your wand, swish and flick. I was a little disappointed it wasn't like actually taking your phone and
Yeah,
like
using the
one.
motion sensor.
They do have a little motion sensor stuff in there, but it's not that. But you do have to trace the wand motion, and you get bonus points for speed and accuracy. and you also lose points for speed and for inaccuracy. So there's like a meter of how quickly you do it, and it stops when you finish. And then if you traced it well accurately, it goes further up. And if you do it poorly, you lose points, and that's like adding percentage chance to whether or not you are successful. So I thought that was pretty cool. Um, I was a little bummed. They have port keys. That's their eggs, where you find a thing, and to unlock it, you have to walk a certain distance, and then you have the port key. And I really was hoping it was going to be some kind of spoofing. So you could spend the port key, and it somehow teleports you to England or Japan or something, and you could be on the map there for a little, because that's what port keys do in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
world.
yeah.
But it's still pretty cool, but it's not that. It teleports you to a magical location that you can't get to otherwise, like Diagon Alley.
Okay.
Uh, and so, but it's cool because it opens up your VR and shows you, there's your world in front of you normally, and then you drop the port key and it opens a portal, and you have to physically walk forward to go through the portal to get into the room, and then once you're in there, you can find findables that that you wouldn't find other you can only find in magical locations. So that's pretty cool, and you can sit there, you stand. It's kind of like your transporter augmentation triangle. Like it's got a little staked out area that your port key takes you, and if you walk out of that, you're gonna be
Okay.
zapped back
Yeah.
home. But if you stay there, you can look all the way around, and you're in like a cabin or a cave or something. And it's very detailed. I give them a lot of props for all the animation they did. It was
Nice.
that was good
Uh,
flavor.
are you gonna stick with it? It's something that because I
As they say, these games are more fun socially. And
yeah.
the one Pokemon player in my office was the one who told me, he's like, I came back from almost 3 weeks away, and was like, "Oh my God, are you playing Harry Potter?" I'm like, "No, I've been out of the country and on a boat." And she's like, "Okay, well, us and two other people are playing, so if you want to join us, we'll have this." And you get to pick a profession. So uh, you're once you get to like level 6, and then they give you a skill tree like Diablo 2, which is pretty
Interesting.
cool.
Okay.
And depending on your profession, you have access to different skills. So certain, like I picked horror because nobody else in our group was an horror, and they're really good against. I know, right?
That's what
They're
one
really
ever wants to be. What?
Most of them are professors. Hey, look, I work for a publishing company.
Fair enough.
So we have one magizoologist, which is basically Hagrid, and then a bunch of professors. And I was like, well, hell yeah, I guess I'll be the auror. That I'll take one for the team. But when you go out and do uh, wizard challenges, it's like you go in and your party has to get through X number of bad guys, and if you have a balanced party, I have a better time against dark wizards. The magic zoologist has a better time against magical creatures, and the wizards or the professors are better against enchanted items like animated artifacts, things like that. So that was a very nice that has kept me interested because I want to see where the skill tree goes. Um, I'm already to the point where I'm like, yes, I have this Pokemon. Yes, I have this Pokemon. I need 18 copies of this Pokemon so I can get the 18 shards to make one whole Pokemon or one whole foundable. They're called foundables, and they're guarded by confoundables.
Uh-huh.
uh-huh. But that aside, it's a lot of fun. They have dailies which give you free coins, which was really hard to come by in Pokemon. Getting free coins was really kind of hard and random. So knowing that you can do some simple tasks every day and get those is pretty cool. Um, so yeah, there's a lot to recommend it. It's got good flavor. It's a little dark. It's my only complaint right now is that the screen is pretty dark. I guess just to differentiate it from Pokemon. So even with your brightness turned all the way out in the sun, it can be kind of hard to see sometimes.
You think that's a battery conservation measure?
Um, no, like I have that turned off.
No, I mean in general, they just made a darker screen so it would use overall a little less power.
Maybe. Um, I mean, at this point, veteran play like you can walk around an area and tell the people playing Pokemon because they are, tethered to their batteries.
Fair enough.
So
Yeah.
it's a really early. conceit of playing a mobile game like that. That you're like, okay, I've got my 3 batteries and they're powered up, and here are my 2 cores. Yep, there you
Yeah,
go.
I'm plugged in right now.
So I, maybe, but I honestly think it's probably just to differentiate it a little more from Pokemon, which is bright and happy and cheery.
Okay, fair enough. That sounds great. I'm looking forward to hearing how you progress and what the skill tree is, and how fast it would take someone to catch up to where you are if they were to jump in like now.
Yeah. Well, I'm only a level behind the person who told me to start on Thursday, so
Fair enough.
yeah.
All right. I think that's probably enough. You tried to stop earlier, and now I'll try to stop. I did pack. I did finish making all the promos for Worlds this last weekend, so that'll be going out soon. They look amazing. Um,
Fantastic.
they're really nice. I mean, this year's theme is one of my favorites anyway, so they're beautiful. So that's fantastic. Look forward to seeing those. I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So looking forward for a moment, it's July. We have, you said you're traveling for a while. Comic Con is in 20 days. No, that's not true. Masquerade is in 20 days. Comic Con is in like 17 days. Uh, a week and a half after that is Gen Con.
Yeah, something like that.
So we're going to have things to do. So we'll try to keep on this. Uh, we'll see how well we can keep you posted with intel. But if nothing else, we can hopefully try to get some post convention uh, reports in periodically. One between Comic Con and Gen Con should be doable. And then we'll have maybe Dan's making the face.
We'll see. I'm probably going to be traveling that Monday as well, but I think we might be able to do a show with me on remote. We'll see what we can do.
All right. Well, we'll see what we do. But we're happy to get back and talk about nonsense for you all. I hope you enjoyed listening to us talking about nonsense. In the meantime, I am Sir Rogue,
And I'm Sir Dan.
and I will remind you all to expand your power in the universe.
That will draw to end.